just think about this for a second. What if your phone could get a signal, a real signal, literally anywhere on Earth? I'm not talking about just in cities or near a highway. I mean in the middle of the ocean, on top of a mountain, anywhere. We might be looking at the beginning of the end for mobile dead zones. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You're trying to send that one critical text, make an important call, or just figure out where you are on a map, and boom, nothing. Your $1,000 smartphone suddenly has all the functionality of a paperweight. That no service screen is a universal frustration. But what if it could actually become a thing of the past? Well, there's a new wave of technology that's promising to do exactly that. The big idea? To connect the standard smartphone that's already in your pocket from anywhere on the planet. And listen, this isn't some far-off sci-fi concept. It is happening right now. It's all thanks to a technology called direct-to-device, or D2D for short. And the name really tells you everything you need to know. It's a satellite service that talks directly to a normal, everyday mobile phone. And the most important part? No special hardware needed. We are not talking about those clunky, super expensive satellite phones you see in spy movies. So how in the world does a satellite, hundreds of kilometers up in space, talk to the phone in your hand? Well, the easiest way to wrap your head around it is to just picture a regular cell tower, but instead of being on the ground, it's orbiting the Earth at incredible speed. Someone on Reddit actually put it perfectly with this quote. Starlink's direct-to-cell satellites, for instance, have this really advanced modem on board that, basically acts just like a cell tower. As far as your phone is concerned, it just sees another network to connect to when your normal signal drops out. Simple as that. Now, there are a couple of main ways companies are trying to pull this off. The first approach, which is used by Globalstar for Apple's SOS service, uses dedicated satellite frequencies, this MSS spectrum. The catch is, it needs a special chip inside the phone. But the other method, the one SpaceX is pioneering, uses standard mobile frequencies. And that is the real game changer, because it's designed to work with the phone you already have, with no changes at all. As you can probably guess, this new tech is kicking off a whole new kind of space race. I mean, launching a network of cell towers into space is a massive undertaking, both technologically and financially. It is a really high-stakes game, and there are some huge players involved. And we can see the two leading strategies right here. You've got SpaceX's Starlink satellites flying in a really low Earth orbit. We're talking just 340 kilometers up. Now, that's great for signal strength, but it means they have to be incredibly careful not to mess with the ground networks. Globalstar, on the other hand, is way higher up, so their biggest fight is just overcoming the huge distance that signal has to travel. So two very different philosophies, and each one comes with its own unique set of problems to solve. And believe me, the challenges do not stop there. Radio frequencies, or spectrum, they're a finite resource. Think of it like real estate. They're not making any more of it. Everybody wants a piece, and you can't just start broadcasting wherever you want. These companies have to fight their way through a super complex regulatory maze to get permission, and the number one priority for everyone is making absolutely sure these new signals from space don't interfere with the cellular networks we all depend on every single day. Okay, so that's the tech, that's the business side of things. But why does any of this actually matter? This is where we shift from theory to the real-world impact on people's lives. And trust me, it's about a whole lot more than just being able to check your Instagram from a remote hiking trail. For that, let's head way up north to Canada's Northwest Territories and visit two remote Indigenous communities, Aklavik and Lutselk'e. These are places you can mostly only get to by plane or, for part of the year, on ice roads. Getting reliable, fast internet here has been a massive challenge for a very long time. For the people in these communities, the digital divide wasn't just some abstract concept. It was their daily reality. The internet was painfully slow, unreliable, incredibly expensive, and it came with these tiny data caps that made modern online life pretty much impossible. Okay, now look at this. A study from the Ivy Business School compared residents who got new satellite internet, like Starlink, with those still on the older connections. The chart on the right, that's the Starlink users. See all that blue? That's them accessing services online. They are way more likely to see a doctor via telehealth, take an online class, or use government services. The difference is just, it's night and day. And this quote from one of the residents, it just says it all. It's not just about these essential services. It's about the freedom from constantly worrying about how much data you're using. The freedom to just live your digital life the way so many of us completely take for granted. And that freedom extends directly to the economy. The same study found that Starlink users were massively more likely to get involved in e-commerce, to provide online services, even work from home. It turns out, when you remove the barrier of a terrible connection, you unlock some serious economic potential. So, if this technology can have such a huge impact, what's the game plan for bringing it to the rest of the world? I mean, what does a global rollout even look like? For Starlink's direct-to-cell service, it's all happening in phases. They started with text messaging back in 2024. The plan for 2025 is to add data and support for all those Internet of Things, or IoT devices. And only after all of that is working will they enable full voice calling. It's a really clear strategy. Start with the absolute essentials first and build from there. But here's the thing, one company can't do this alone. To make this whole thing feel seamless, the satellite operators are partnering with mobile carriers all over the globe. And this is just a small sample of the big names that are already on board. The idea is really simple. When you lose your local signal, your phone will just automatically switch over to the satellite network, kind of like how it roams when you travel to another country. So we end up right back where we started, but now with a totally new perspective. This dream of a world without any dead zones is quickly becoming a reality, and it promises incredible gains in safety, in economic opportunity, and in social equity. But it also begs a question. In a world where we can always be connected, what might we lose? What's the value of being truly, completely unreachable? That's something we're all going to have to figure out together.